Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another Mindset Monday. Today, I am joined with fabulous rock stars Julie Morman and Deanne Fleming. Thank you guys for taking time
Yeah.
to come and be with us today and share all about work-life balance. I know that you guys have, seem to have figured out, something that works for you guys. And like we were talking about earlier, especially with the personal experience. I think it's, not just realtors, but a lot of people struggle with that and the guilt of being, so busy and feeling guilty whenever they're not with their family because they have to be with their clients, and vice versa whenever they're with their clients or whenever with their family, being feeling guilty that they're not there. So thank you guys again for being here. I just wanted to start out with, just some tips and some strategies that you guys have put into place that have really helped you and also helped me along the way, because I know some of them have completely, changed my life and my relationships. Julie, I will start with you. I'd love to dig into, just, you know, your strategies, setting boundaries, and going from there.
Well, being a mom, Deanne can attest to this, and you as well. Our kids are busy. Deanne's are all grown now. She has her last one in college.
Yeah.
My baby will be a senior in high school next year. But that's actually how Deanne and I met, was at the baseball and football fields. Our oldest played sports together. And so that's how we met. So, what I've done from the very beginning, I started real estate 19 years ago. This is my 19th year. So, at that time, I had a son that was in multiple sports, and I had a newborn baby, which is my middle child. And then 2.5 years later, I had a daughter. So busy, busy. At one point, they were all three in sports at the same time. So I was juggling that. My husband also had a career that was super busy at that time. And so I just always had to juggle it and put their activities in first. Their school holidays went into my planner first. I am still, got it right here, a big paper planner. I don't use my phone. I use my planner for all things. So all my kids' activities go in there first. Family vacations go in there first. Kids' birthdays, so I could go have lunch with them at school, or anything like that always went into my planner first. I was team mom. I was PTO president at Deer Park Elementary at one point. So I've done all the things and built my business along the way. So with that being said, is it always easy? No, it's not always easy. I love my clients. Luckily, I have the best clients. And so they're very understanding if I say, hey, I can't show you between 6 and 7 because so and so has a game. Can I show you before that or after that? I've never had anyone in all these years go no and call someone else. So I think if you do a good job for your clients and you're present when you're with them, um, they're gonna wait that hour or two or whatever it is. Now during COVID, when we were crazy, crazy busy, yeah, you had to jump when things came on the market because of multiple offer situations and timelines and all of that. And we were working a lot. We still are working a lot. The market's still good here, but it was crazy. And were there times I would get home and my family would be on the boat without me and I would be sitting on the couch writing an offer? Yes. But they understood. And so it's just about making time for all of it, and for ourselves. We're good about that too, about spending time with our friends and you know having hair appointments or massages or whatever it is we need to do for self-care too.
Yeah. What do you have to add to that, Deanne?
Yeah, just like what Julie said, like if your clients understand, and especially when you have a family with 3 kids, 4 kids, or however many, even if it's 1 or 2, your clients understand that. And as long as you keep the communication open, then they're not going to jump to the next agent. I mean, if you're doing 100% work for them, then they're going to be there for you. They know that you work all day long, all night long, sometimes in your sleep you're working, but they know that you have to have that family time too. And they want to see that, because that just means that your priorities are right too. And your values and morals are right, so just like what Julie said, I mean, like she and I both, we still have our planners like this that we do everything with.
We use the same planner.
Same planner. I do put a little bit in my phone now, but I like to open my book and see it all there. And so it's just you have to have a schedule. You have to be on top of your game, to make it work.
Organized.
One of the things that I was saying before, because I was that jump and run agent who was operating out of fear, that if I wasn't able to show right then, if I wasn't able to attend the inspection or the closing or whatever it was at that specific time that was asked, that they were going to go somewhere else. And also just working from eyes open to eyes closed. We all know we don't have 40-hour work weeks in real estate. We work a lot more than that, and just not having control. And my family struggled because of that, because it was all work. So I was putting everything into work. And Julie, like you said, earlier, like your whole thing, and Deanne too, that what I have come to grasp is the fact that we do not live to work. We work so we can have a great and a good life. And it's having those strategies on how do we tell our clients without that fear that, oh, I actually already have something, or I'm in the middle of something, without them feeling like they're going to back off, or like be, oh no, I'm leaving to go to somewhere else. And I think that something that you guys do really well as well is the type of clients that you guys have, because you both work by referral, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It makes a difference because people know us. They know our work ethic. They know that we're not going to leave them hanging. And I think the key is communication, right? Being upfront and saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this, but I can do X, Y, and Z. Or if you need it during that time, Deanne's shown for me before. I've shown for her before when we've been on vacation, whatever. We have, I think, 90 something agents now in our office. And so there's plenty of opportunity if that time doesn't work for us, and only that time works for our client, we can get that house shown, period.
Yeah.
We've never had an instant to where we couldn't make it work. So that's important too, just having each other to rely on. We travel a lot with our families, especially now that our kids are older. We go on vacations, and it's important, to refresh and regroup. Now, are we working? Have we been known to be poolside or beachside or at the ski lodge or whatever with our laptop? Absolutely. Do we travel without them? No, we don't. But if a client needs to see something while we're gone, they're going to see the house. They're not going to have to wait till we get back in a few days to see the house. They're going to see it right away.
Yeah. And they know we're taking care of them.
10 years that she finally learned the importance of, self-care and how big it is. She's gone through a lot, but absolutely. One of the first things, in whenever I got into real estate and, got really busy and really didn't have that mindset, back then, Tanya told me, she was just like, you have to schedule your self-care. You have to schedule your time. You have to schedule, like, if you need a massage, or you have to schedule if you need a lunch, or if you need, whatever it is, that it has to go in your schedule. And even though she told me back then, I was doing it maybe like on or off, but I was still operating out of the fear of losing a client and not jumping and running because I didn't have that in place. And it was whenever, you were like, okay, you have to put it in your calendar first, that the family, and those functions in those and things that are important to you have to go in there first. And then whenever you're talking to your client saying, okay, well, I already have something, at that time, but giving them options. Does this time, or this time work for
Right.
you?
Right.
And then they're more susceptible saying, okay, yeah, that works.
Right. And if it doesn't work, then that's when we rely on each other too.
All right, Deanne, Crystal, one of our new agents says, what advice do you have for a new agent 1 month in the business?
Well, my advice is don't give up because nothing comes easy. It doesn't come easy. You have to work for it and you have to establish that clientele to where then you can work on referral basis, just referrals at some point, but just can't give up. You have to treat this like a 9 to 5 job at first, at least. Even if you're not working any clients and you don't have anything in your pipeline, you go into the office because the more you're in the office, you're hearing everyone else's transactions and what they're doing and what this client did and what the title company did. And you're learning from that. And you can learn and pick up clients that way too. So you have to be present. You have to be present. And go to all your kids' functions, go to all their functions because you network there too. You make relationships and friendships. That's how mine and Julie's started, as she said too. You make your relationships there too. I mean, I have clients that were baseball moms from 15 years ago, and the presence, you have to be present.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like, especially, with, being a new agent, having your family, growing your new family, they are no strangers to, having kids and having that balance. Balance is key. And, firsthand, like if it's not in my calendar, it's not going to happen. And I have 2 calendars. I have my one that Sharon has, and then I have, the one that I have at home. Well, I didn't write something on my one that I have at home. So for me, it's the first thing I do at night. I look at that calendar, and in the morning, and if I forget to put it there, like it just doesn't happen because I live by that calendar. And something that I think is so easy for a new agent is to get lost in the work and the hustle and just always grinding. And, again, like working from eyes open to eyes closed because there is just so much that you can do, but really taking that time, for yourself and putting that in the calendar first, because at the end of the day, if you can't like take care of yourself and your family, you're not going to be good for anybody else, either. Is there anything you have to add to that, Julie?
Yeah, Dan said, just like I tell everybody, be in the office as much as possible, because if somebody doesn't show up for their floor time or needs to give it away, you're there. Listening, you get rapport with the other agents in the office, so they're more likely to ask you to host an open house for them, or give you a lead that they can't maybe help if they're going out of town or something like that. But the other advice I would add to that is don't be a secret agent. You're new, it's you don't know everything. I mean, that's with any business, right? You can go to school, you can get the degree, you can get the real estate license, but this is really a business that's hands-on. So I see the nervousness in that and letting people know that you're a realtor, but don't be a secret agent. When I first started, social media was just becoming a thing. It's free. It's free. So make sure that you're letting people know what you do when you're going to functions. Make sure you have business cards on you. Make sure that you're talking to people and telling everyone what you do. The key thing that I tell agents is, I know a lot of times people are nervous about telling people what they do when they don't have the experience behind them. But the key to it is saying, we're one of the largest offices in the area. If I don't know the answer, I can get it for you. And so just don't be a secret agent. Really, really, really let everyone know what you're doing and that you'd be happy to help them in any way.
Yeah. So we coach and we mentor around the Buffini system in our office. Julie is one of our certified mentors. Both of them have gone through the Peak Producers, back whenever it was Peak Producers, the Pathway to Mastery, Essentials, and the advanced courses that they have. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about that, because it leads right into that working by referral and making sure that you're qualifying the people that you are giving your time or investing your time in, because time invested in somebody else that's not your family is it's got to be right.
Right. I'll start if that's okay, Deanne.
Yeah.
The key thing is our time is valuable. And when you first start out, like you said, Kimberly, you're grabbing. You'll help anybody, you'll show anything, and you learn as you go, time management and not letting people waste your time, helping those. Key, making sure they're pre-approved and they're just not looky-loos. There's a lot of things that go into that, but I think it's with time that you gain that and you're like, oh, I don't want this to happen again, so I'm going to do this to safeguard myself. There's crazy people out there in this world now, so just protecting yourself. I think that's one of the key things that I love about the way I've built my business based off of referrals, is because 99.9% of the time I'm going to know who I'm going to meet, either personally or they were referred to me by a friend or family member. So that helps too. I think it's important to build your business that way. It's the best business, because if we do have a family function, those people want to wait on us because so-and-so referred and said what a great job we did. So I think it makes it a lot easier to have that balance in your life when you're building a business based off of that. But yeah, I think it's one of those things that goes with time, is learning, don't be showing a house at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. One, it's not safe. Two, you can't really see the house. We're glad that now we have daylight a little bit later, so we can work a little bit later. There's just a lot of different things that go into that, but be smart. If something doesn't feel right, it's probably
try to develop that relationship already when you're on the phone with them, so that they know you're invested in them too. Mm-hmm. And then you're trying to find out as much about them. So when you do go meet them, and then hopefully you feel a little bit safer about meeting them too. But try to start that relationship, not just like someone calling and saying, I want to go see this home, and okay, schedule it, because that's easy to do at first because you're excited about a phone call. But have a conversation with them. Have more than one conversation with them. And before you're even going to see that home, and ask them about their pre-approval first, because we don't want to go show someone that's not pre-approved, because we're maybe wasting our time and spinning our wheels, when we could be with our family.
Right. And I also tell them, the pre-approval isn't just for us, it's for them too. You don't want to go show them a $500,000 house and they find out they're pre-approved for $350,000. Well, now they've seen a $500,000 house and that's what their expectations are. And that $350,000 house is not going to have everything the $500,000 house has. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about everything Deanne and I mentioned, but it's also not getting their hopes up, or not wasting their time. Their time's valuable too. If they have a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 job and they can only see houses for an hour in the evenings before they're taking kids, or, this day or that day on the weekends, and they just looked at a bunch of houses that were 200 to 250 and they can actually afford 3 to 4, then they just wasted their time, because they don't really want a house that's 2 or 250. They'd rather have the house so it works in their favor and ours to make sure that they're qualified.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll add one more thing to that. You know, having that buyer consult up front, it helps do several things. It sets expectations so it's a smoother transaction. It lets you build a relationship and a rapport with them. And it also does, you know, with that conversation about being pre-approved, because you don't want to waste time, you don't want to waste their time, is maybe they are qualified for, you know, 500,000, maybe they could qualify for 700,000, but do they want to pay that mortgage note on whatever the daily interest rate is on that particular thing? So them understanding, like buyers understanding that how much they need to bring to closing and how much it's going to look financially on a monthly basis is so important to them, because you don't want to go out and spend a day looking at several houses and then them, you know, find out, oh, well, that's way out of my budget. And then it's just, you know, wasted time, you know, with their family or other priorities that they have as well. And then with this, I also want to jump into that, you know, time invested, right? Like accounting for your time and what you're doing for it. I think that, you know, a lot of times, you know, people can get lost on, you know, on social media, or just, you know, busy work versus, you know, productive work. And you guys, you can see almost like, I don't know, several times a week, there is not a time where you don't see Deanne where she is, you know, she is working, unless she's with her, you know, her family, with her new baby,
Grandbaby.
you know, even pulling up to the front of the office, right? Working from the car. And, you know, Julie, whenever you broke your knee, how long were you in bed?
At first I wasn't in bed, and then they thought I had a blood clot, and they were like, "You cannot be out." I was like, "Oh, well, I was at the office. I was writing a contract." But I was on bed rest for like 2 weeks. So I wasn't able to show or anything like that. After that, I couldn't drive for 3 months. So I had to hire a car service, which I got the most work done. Deanna and I are notorious for having our laptops in the car. Not always driving down the road, but we'll pull over. Sometimes I may be driving down the road.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. But during that time, sitting in the back seat and having a driver drive me from appointment to appointment was amazing, because I got so much work done in that back seat. But yeah, it was hard, but I set the expectations. My business did not slow down at all. Yeah. I don't know what else you want me to say about that, but it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah. So whenever you guys are like, you know, you work by referral, you know, whenever you're first talking to your clients, how do you set those boundaries with them? Is there a conversation that you have to, you know, to let them know about, you know, your life obligations, your relationship obligations, so there's not any friction whenever you have something? Or do you still just say, like, you know, have the calendar and you already have this, you know, how does that conversation look when you're speaking to your clients?
Well, it's kind of like what Julie said too. We already have those penciled into our calendars. And then I ask them, like, okay, so they send me a list of homes they want to go see when we start working with them. And then I say, what time of day is best for you? In the morning, it can be between this time and this time, or the evening, working around if we have something planned that day.
Right.
So, and I mean, I don't always have to share with them what I had blocked out, or, you know, but if they're friends and if they're referred by friends, usually they know, and, you know, too, but sometimes not. But I mean, sometimes I tell them I have others clients scheduled for that time too. I can see if I can move around schedules, if that time is the only time that works for them, you know, and if not, I mean, we make it work somehow. I don't think I've ever not been able to accommodate a client with myself or one of y'all or someone showing them for me. I've never had to say no.
Right.
You know, never. Like, we can't do that. No is not even in my vocabulary. So.
That's right.
And I think that is so impressive, with the number of homes that you have closed being, you know, top 5 and top 18 in the state. Still being able to go on vacation, being there for the birth of your grandchild, being there like for all of our friends' things, and still always being there for your clients. Aren't you tired?
No, I mean, maybe this morning I did say, like, do we have to go to the gym this morning?
And she goes to the gym every
We
morning.
did go 15 minutes later than normal, but no. So, but you know what? I was laying there this morning when I said, like, oh, let's skip this morning. And then I was just laying there going, oh my gosh, but I could already be doing this and this. Like, I could already be doing that amendment or doing that. And so we got up and went. Yeah.
What would y'all say is the most productive, time of day for you guys? Is it in the morning when you first get up, or is it before you go to bed? Do you guys have like a certain time that's more for you guys?
I always say, and my family will attest to this, and probably y'all too, I always have said forever, I am not a morning person. I am not a night person. I am a day person. So in the mornings, first thing I do, check emails, all of that. Obviously, I have my quiet time, do my devotion, but in the evenings, my brain won't stop. So I'm doing things at night too, but really during the day is probably my most productive time. If I'm working from home, I am not distracted. Like today was a work from home day. I had no outside appointments. Of course, I was dealing with clients and doing things with my new listings and a closing I have this week and all of those things, but the dishes aren't done. Dinner's not in the oven yet. It will be after this. I checked with my family first to make sure that they were okay with a later dinner time tonight. But I don't get distracted during the day. It's just work. So I would say midday, like anytime between 9-ish to 6-ish is my go time. Like I'm just focused. I know what needs to be done. I look at my planner on the side, check those things off, go through emails. I'm constantly checking my emails. And that kind of goes back to setting those expectations for our clients. Deanna and I are really good about communication. Our clients are never going to not hear back from us quickly. I tell people at the listing appointment when I first meet with them, if they're not a previous client of mine, which Deanna and I both have a lot of repeat business, if they're repeat, they already know how we work, that they're never going to have to worry about anything. But if they're a new client, I tell them the only time I'm not going to answer my phone is if I'm with someone else doing what we're doing right now.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, this is horrible to say, but my phone goes by the bath. I'm psycho. Because there are times when you have those clients that want to hear back from you right away. They need a response right away, or they may stress out. And I want to try to make it as easy and smooth. I do this every day. And I've had clients before that say, how does this not stress you out? I'm like, I'm doing 10 of these right now. It just doesn't, like, we're so used to it. Every transaction is different, but we're just so used to it that we just do it. But yeah, setting those expectations. But I would say during the daytime is probably my most productive time because I'm so focused on making sure, that's when the title company's open. That's when, lenders are at their offices. Not that we don't work with the best of the best lenders and title companies that respond to us at 10 o'clock at night, and on the weekends. But I would say daytime is probably my most productive just because I'm zoned in, ready to go.
Yeah. What about you, Deanne?
Yeah, I am too. So my schedule did change a little bit when I started this morning workout because I was a night person and would stay up till 12 and 1 doing work. And so I had to change that. But so now I get like 30, 45 minutes of work in before even going to the gym at 5:30. And then like this morning, we left the gym, my husband and I left the gym and we went and took 2 signs and 2 lock boxes out to 2 different homes. And so we were doing that at 6:30 this morning. So, I mean, I just hit the ground running. And, but I mean, I do have breaks in the day too. And I do work at night until I go to sleep. But, but I do still, I mean, we do still eat together, movies, and whatever too. But yeah, I mean, it just depends on your clients too. If you're having to show them in the evenings, if you're working clients in that can only go during the week after 6 o'clock, so, but I don't know. I mean, I guess now I would say I get most of my busy work done in the morning now, because then I start my day earlier. We're home at 7, and I don't usually have appointments starting before 9 or 10, so I get work done then.
Yeah, no, I love hearing that. I mean, because I think that the message for, everybody is to know yourself and to know where your most productive time is, whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the evening, or whether it's during the day. I know for me, it used to be at night. I mean, I felt like I was so busy, during the day that was the only time that I didn't have the distractions to be able to do that. But then, like I made it a point like several years ago. Okay, well, after a certain hour, like Delilah has my time. Like this is my family time. Yes, I'll still answer, I'll answer phone calls and text messages for my clients, for my agents. It's always there. But if she wants to, watch a show or watch a movie, I've learned to be like, okay, they will survive if I don't answer my phone within an hour, right? And really, putting her there first and then catching up on stuff maybe, afterwards. But, trying to go to bed earlier so I can wake up earlier, because that's but when I've been most productive is actually in the morning. And you guys remember, like for the office meetings, I would stay up until like 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And just come in like a hot mess until I was like, okay, no, you're not going to do this anymore. You're going to go to bed early and you're going to wake up early and you're going to get it done.
Right. Yeah. And you feel better too, I think.
One thing I'll say, Kimberly, is it's fun listening to what Deanne has to say and what you've had to say about this, and maybe what I'm saying as well. But I think what truly makes a difference is we love what we do. And so, yes, it's work. I hate to say, it's not work. It is work. But I think when you truly love what you do, it makes a difference. You don't mind, getting up early and sending those things, or missing out on something that something else that maybe not be that important to help a client or go show, or stay up late at night to do those amendments or put those listings in, things like that, because you're truly, every day is exciting. Every day is different. It's never boring, ever.
No, every day, every transaction is different.
Right. And so I think that's what sets us apart, the three of us, is we truly love what we do. We truly love what we do. And so working long hours, or, maybe having to go to a kids event or something like that, and then going to show after, and it doesn't seem like you're missing anything in life, because you truly are fulfilled by the work you do and helping people.
Yeah. Well, again, like I love what I do, and I loved it back then, and I love you guys, but I really wanted to, have you guys on today, because I know that there are other agents out there who were like me, who might be struggling, just feeling, super stressed and feeling like they're not working hard enough, or feeling like they're working, too much, and that either one or the other is being neglected. And then having conversations with people too, where they don't have any business, but they've been spending a lot of time with their family, and they don't want to give up their family time, but they also need the income from their business, and trying to find, that balance, because there's a real need for, for balance, because we can't work all of the time. And I'd love to be with my family like every waking hour, but it's not going to help me pay for my mortgage and my car. So it's just not feasible. So finding a way to feel like you are, succeeding in both, or like with Buffini, talking about the 5 circle fit with your, yourself, and the spiritual in there as well is super important. And, for me, what was key is, again, like going back over what we just said, especially for people who are just now tuning in that didn't, hear in the beginning, is whenever I learned, what you guys are doing is putting the important things first, like Buffini says, and Lauren had mentioned it, the big rocks in first, like the important things in first. And it's amazing, what you can fit in your calendar, as long as those like high priority things go in, first. And then having the ability to say, you know what, I'm not going to operate out of fear. I have, this event, I have, my daughter's volleyball, I have, a birthday party, I have whatever it is in there, and somebody saying, hey, I need to do something at this exact same time. And instead of saying like, oh yes, and canceling on myself and canceling on my family and jumping and running, having that verbiage to be able to say, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm not available at this time, but does this time, or this time work, for you? And like Deanne, like you were saying, like we try to make everything fit. Like I just had a blue tape walkthrough with my first time home buyers. That's one of my favorite parts of, real estate, is watching a home, come together and being there, for them. And I thought I was going to miss it because Julie and I had the career day that day. And I was just like, oh gosh, we already had this planned. I don't want to cancel on the kids. And I was able to make both of them happen. They ended up, being done early with the career day. Julie and I still had time to do, lunch, and I was able to make the blue tape walkthrough for my client and be back for my daughter. So we try really hard.
You just do it.
You just do it. And life happens. Our lives aren't smooth sailing either. I've had some very high highs over my real estate career, and I've had some really low lows in both business and personal. And, it's with anything. You just have to, know that tomorrow's a new day. And honestly, sometimes when I'm going through stuff personally, there's been clients that have become super close to me that help me get through those days where I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I'm showing them today, because I need to have somebody like that today, because of whatever may be going on personally, and vice versa. There's times when, I've had a difficult transaction and I've come home and my kids are able to cheer me up. My family's able to cheer me up, and, makes it all worth it. Either way you look at it, we're blessed.
So Doug said, what these incredible agents are saying without saying it is, if you want to be successful and production level of these ladies, you have to put in the work. So
that's right.
And Doug knows it too, right?
And Doug knows, because he's a worker.
Doug
and a driller.
Yes. You have to put in the work, but you have to make it work. And that's really the point we're trying to drive home, is you can be successful. You do have to put in the work, but you don't have to sacrifice, time with your family and your friends and taking care of yourself to be able to do it, which is why in particularly I asked you guys, because you produce at such a high level and help so many, families each year, and you still have never missed a game, never missed, a cheer, or even whenever it was oh gosh, I'm going blank, like whenever JC was cheering at school, like beginning of the, game, never missed
Pep rally.
Yeah, the pep rally, right?
I've never missed a pep rally. Yeah.
Pep rally. You've never missed, a family, vacation or lunch, with the girls, or like baby showers and wedding events all over, all over the state and all over the nation, and still being able to produce the way you do and still look amazing and not like age to like you're 100 because of all the stress.
Maybe. Yeah, let's show our wrinkles.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, my daughter told me I had the angry 11 the other day, whatever that is.
I love you. You are amazing.
We love Doug.
Who's in all of our professional photo bomber. He said, you ladies are the epitome of what happens when you have incredible work ethic combined with personal ethics and kick blank professionalism.
We try.
We love you.
Yeah. Yes, Doug.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap it up, I told you guys my questions that I ask everybody. And so we're going to start with the favorite quote that you love. Deanne, what is your favorite quote that is, impacted?
Well, the quote that I've liked for a long time, and this came from my parents, my grandparents, and we've instilled it in our kids too, like, be the good you want to see in others too. So be that person, and I mean, let's be the good, I mean, be that person to bring the other person up, and I used to tell my kids every morning when I was dropping them off at school, like, put a smile on somebody else's face today, and so just be the good you want to see in others.
No, I absolutely love that. That is such a good one. I know I said it before. I don't remember when, but with Delilah growing up, we had the game we'd play like every single morning because it's what, how my mom brought me up too, is to make somebody smile. That, she had the 3 rules as she got out of the car, and I'd have her recited back to me. I'm like, so what are you going to do today? She's like, I'm going to make somebody smile. And I'm like, how are you going to do it? And she's like, by being very encouraging and uplifting. I'm like, yeah, not by being a clown. Like, there's a difference, but by doing something kind was our thing. So that's very simple and such a good one. Be the good. What about you, Julie?
I have so many.
I know, yeah.
When you asked this earlier, I was like, okay. And so I started thinking, first is God is good all the time. God is good all the time.
All the time.
All the time. All the time, God is good. And so that's my main one, but I have a few Bible verses too. They're not really quotes, but I guess kind of, sort of. So I have a few Bible verses I love. Proverbs 3:5-10 is one of my favorites. Luke 6:37 is one of my favorites. But yeah, I would just say God is good all the time. God is good.
All the time. All right. Now, Julie, I'm going to start with you. What is your favorite book that has impacted you the most?
Okay, so everybody that knows me knows what my favorite book is, the Bible, the Bible. But I knew coming into this that probably wasn't, people probably want some business, real estate books as well. The books of the Bible that are my favorite before I go to books, Matthew, Luke, Acts, Proverbs. If y'all need any details on those, please feel free to message me. But business books that I've read over the last year, or I've listened to Audible too. I'm a big time reader, and I listen to audiobooks a lot. Agent's Edge.
Another
yes.
plug.
I loved it. The High Five Habit by Mel Robbins is one of my favorite that I read this past year. The Gap and the Gain, so good. And The Power of Habit, another good one. So I have so many good ones because I read so much. And then podcasts. I know that's not your question, it's book, but my favorite podcast is the Rachel Hollis podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know this.
I know.
All the time. I'm like a super fan.
She knows the introduction.
I even went to Dallas to see her because she was in Houston when we were out of town for something else. But I like her podcast because she talks about being an entrepreneur, being a mom, business, life, health, women's health, all the things. So yes, I'm a super fan of her podcast. But if y'all want any other book recommendations or anything like that, reach out to me. But those are some of my favorite over the last year or two that I've read.
Awesome. Deanne?
Okay. And straight up honest, I don't read that much books. I just don't. But the one that not only one, but what changed my routine a little bit was the Miracle Morning
Mhm.
book, because I,
Hello.
yeah, because I didn't do all that in the morning. I didn't have my quiet time, my devotional time in the morning and stuff. I didn't do all that. I was just like hurry in to get ready, get out the door and go, but so I did learn from that book.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, that's a great book. I actually, it's like on my list to read again.
It's
I've
good.
already read it twice, but I'm like,
yeah.
I need to
And it's
read.
an easy read too.
And our other favorite that we read every morning is our Jesus Calling.
Yeah,
Jesus
Jesus
Calling
calling us here.
every morning.
Yes. So
Definitely
the
agree.
So let's
devotional.
add that to our list because we
That's
do
right.
that every
Yeah.
Yeah,
morning too.
absolutely. All right, Deanne, best piece of advice that you were given that you would share with others.
I would say when starting in this industry was, I mean, I kind of mentioned it before, but just don't give up, and don't settle either. Don't Okay, when I first started working with co-oping with other agents, and something that frustrated me was, or when I would say, ask them something, and they would just say right off, no, can't do that. And I'm like, well, can you just ask, first? Can you ask? I mean, don't just say no, like, just ask, just tell your person that's asking you a question, well, let me see what I can do. Let me see what we can do on this. I mean, don't say no, it can't happen. So because of I had other agents doing that to me, I was like, okay, I'm never gonna do that. I'm always going to try and see what we can do. Besides, I like to negotiate anyway. But yeah, so just don't give up, and just keep working hard, keep plugging. So that was the advice that I was always given, because I mean, when I started, I mean, well, I mean, y'all were there when I started too, and I mean, I started. I'm from the area, so I had clients starting, but I mean, there was some months that I wouldn't have anything, and I'd be like, did I make the right choice? But yep, I kept plugging though. Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you finally took the real estate exam?
Yes.
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 I
Yes.
kept telling her to over and over.
I know. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But yes, I'm glad I did. And I wish Julie would have been kicking me in the butt a long time before that. But yes, I'm very grateful that I did. Yes.
All right, Julie, best piece of advice that you were given that you would share with others.
Two pieces of advice. Be real, be authentic, be yourself. People see through if you're not. So I would just say be real, be authentic, be yourself. And then the other thing I would say is treat everyone the same. I know that Deanna and I are really good about this, whether it's a $50,000 lot, because I do have one of those right now if anybody needs one.
I do too.
Or if it's a multi-million dollar home. Yeah. Or if it's a multi-million dollar home, I treat everyone the same. They get the same photographer, they get the same everything, the same service. So I would say be real, be authentic, and treat everyone the same.
No, absolutely. Some great advice, some great quotes, some great words of wisdom, some great books, some great tips and strategies going back to, really trying to implement for having that work-life balance in a tough industry where, again, like my first year, Tanya told me it's like walking a tightrope, and on one side you have your life and on the other side you have work, and you have to do that balancing act, all the time. And I didn't realize how important that message was until I was in the thick of on the work side and letting the other side go. So all great things that you guys have shared today. Thank you for sharing it with me a long time ago and helping me out. I truly love you guys and I appreciate it. And we have lots of, thank yous on the board, you guys, from Roxana and Joseph and Maria. So you guys are welcome. And thank you for your time today away from, y'all's family. So y'all could be here with us and share.
No, thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you, Kimberly.
All right. Well, you guys at home, if you have any other questions or need anything, we are here for you. So feel free to shoot us an instant message and we will get right back with you. You guys have a fabulous week. I hope it's been a great Mindset Monday and a motivational one. You guys take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.